Hello, my lovely butterfly. Welcome to Butterfly Dreams. I am Stephanie, and today I'm going to share with you 3 collaging techniques that you can do by using scraps. So stay tuned. I don't know about you, but there's something so nostalgic about cutting shapes and objects and gluing them onto my journal spread. I find that it immediately transports me to kindergarten or preschool where I would just glue random objects that I cut out to construction paper. And so that's why I feel like this practice really does connect you with your inner child, and it can be very profound and healing. I'm going through my journal here, showing you my trial runs for this video, and I came up with this mood tracker of sorts by just punching out circle shapes from scrap pieces of paper. And if you don't have a circle punch, you can just take a bottle cap and trace it and then use that as your template to cut out the number of shapes that you need. For this, I did it aligned with the calendar, and as you can see, I started on the 20th of September because I wanted to see if it would actually work and how it would turn out, and I absolutely loved it. I did go ahead and pre-fill my happy faces, even though today is only the 23rd, because I create my own reality, and every day I choose joy, happiness, and bliss. So there's that. But I'm showing you here that I have this book that I got at Dollar Tree a while ago, and it retailed for $15, and I use it so much. I've had this for years. I want to say maybe about 11 years or so, because I got it when my son was born. And it's it says it's a journal for self-discovery, and while I love all the prompts and everything, I don't necessarily use it as it was intended to. I like to cut out the words. I like to cut out different shapes from the patterned paper, and as you can see, it's well loved. And this is what I reach for often when I want to play in my planner and do some collaging. But I also have a really huge bag of scrap paper, and I have like other random bins with scrap paper. I refuse to get rid of it. Here I'm showing you that I cut out some random words from brochures. That's another tip. Just if you have junk mail, brochures, old magazines, maybe your neighbors, your family, feel free to cut out words and phrases. I had Shake Shack the other day, and the bag had all these bold, beautiful words. And of course, I had to take my scissors and cut them. I was at work, mind you. So, yeah, whenever I see just random magazines or advertisements on that I feel would work in my planner, I usually will cut them out and save them in this little rinky dinky envelope. I have other places where I save them too, by the way, but just for easy access. And here you can see these are the shapes that I cut out using my hole punch. By the way, I wasn't intending to do a voiceover, so I feel completely out of my comfort zone. I recorded this video with so much passion, and I felt like it was coming out so great. And I was saying all these wonderful things, and all of a sudden I play back my video and nothing has sound. So bear with me while I do this. I just didn't want to get rid of the footage altogether. I really wanted to put this out in the world as I thought you might enjoy. So hopefully you will enjoy, and just bear with me. Cut me some slack. Anyways, here I am punching out another circle shape. I decided to start the spread for October. And as you can see here, I also misnumbered the days. I went from 21 to 23, but I end up fixing that later on. I just love trying out all the different little happy faces. I even went on Pinterest to see other happy faces and try different techniques. I hand wrote the month There's something so beautiful about hand lettering and using our own handwriting, something I hope that never becomes obsolete. I sometimes think about my children, my grandchildren, specifically my great grandchildren, and so on. And I think one day they'll get to hold this book and they'll see, oh wow, my grandma used to write. And honestly, it sounds so far fetched, but handwriting can become obsolete as we are living in a very digital era. That kind of breaks my heart to think about it. So this is just a way to save this in writing and for future generations to see. How interesting is that, So yeah, I just added all these happy faces in advance because, again, I create my own reality. And then I even added like this little decorative piece there. I'm intending to just add like random, I don't know, like memories there, little bits and pieces of junk. I don't know. And yeah, I just love how it turned out. So now I'm going to show you what I did for October. And for October, I decided to do something a little different. I also didn't want you to sit through this entire video while I pasted 31 different random pieces of paper. So I went ahead and did it prior to starting the video, but you get the idea. For this though, I did something a little different. I cut out the circle shapes, but then I ended up using my squiggly scissors, which I think I'll show you in a second. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. It's so awkward to do a voiceover, I promise. Yeah, so those are the squiggly scissors that I use. You don't have to use that. You can fussy cut it. Fussy cutting is something that I also love to do. Connects me to my inner child as well. And I thought these looked like little Pac-Man ghosts. I thought they were just so cute. So, to stay aligned with like the Halloween theme, I thought it would be nice to create little ghosties. And that's what I did. And you can still add the little smiley faces. I was also thinking it would be nice to carry this over to each different holiday in the month. Like for, I don't know, November, maybe a leaf motif would be nice. Or then for December, a triangle shape to resemble a tree. For Valentine's, a heart, which is my favorite. But anywho, you get the idea. I decided to handwrite the month again because I love to use my handwriting whenever I can. And here I just used a Tombow marker and then one of my Stabilo markers, pen. And then I went in with a cursive writing. I like to do this a lot. Very simple, but I think it's super cute. I like it. And I forgot to cross my T there, but eventually I end up crossing it. So no worries. I just continued dating it all the way to the 31st, of course. Oh man, I'm feeling so upset about the fact that I don't have the audio because you can hear the paper crinkling, me writing, all that yummy, juicy ASMR, but alas, I can't cry over spilled milk. Oh, I keep saying that to myself. Maybe I'll believe it. But in any event, I then went in and added some happy faces just to show you how cute it turns out. Just trying different happy faces. There are so many ways to create a happy face, by the way. And also, obviously, if it's a mood tracker, obviously, you don't have to make it all happy faces. You can make sarcastic faces, sleepy faces. Like, this is your practice, your journal. Feel free to do whatever feels right for you. This is just an idea. How cute! I love it. So cute. And then here I saw that it had this other color. And I thought it would be cute to make a little bang on the little happy face. So that was my attempt to make a little bang of sorts. So super cute. I made some dimples on this one. So you see, you can literally make so many kinds of faces. And I like that I'm also practicing my doodling. That's something I've been very adamant about this year. I used to be so afraid of drawing simple shapes, but the only way you get better at anything is by practicing. And I love that art has given me the opportunity to get out of my head, to get out of my own way, to release perfection, to give myself grace. I love that my journal allows me to translate whatever I learn in my journal, I can translate it into real life. And that's the beauty of journaling and art in itself. So I'm definitely all about just do it, create, make mistakes, just like I did when I misnumbered. I will go back and fix that eventually. Love how it turned out. I apologize in advance for the noise that you hear, but my neighbor's kids are outside and they're yelling so much. Oh, joy. But I decided to add this cheeky little phrase that says, "Hey boo," while trying some random hand lettering. And super simple, easy, but cute nonetheless. All right, so now I'm going to show you the second idea I have for a simple collage spread using scrap paper. I decided to use this colorful piece of scrap paper from that journal that I have. And I was just trying to decide what side to use. And I'm going to fold it in half because we're going to be cutting out mini little hearts. 9 to be exact. I like to work in 3s. So generally you'll see me working in multiples of 3s. So for this specific spread, we're going to need 9 little hearts. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut 9 hearts from this scrap paper. I don't know about you, but the first time I discovered that you can cut out a heart shape by folding a piece of paper, I was completely thrown aback. It was like my life had opened up, my world had expanded. Yeah, it was that grandiose for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Just eyeballing it, no perfection, no need to be super meticulous or anything. Just enjoy the process and be present. That is what this practice is all about, being present, using our creativity, blocking out any unwanted thoughts, connecting with our inner child, all of the good stuff. And definitely this is the antithesis to doom scrolling. A lot of my weekends now I just spend in my journal. Sometimes I'll sit with my son and we would just work in our journals. He likes to do a lot of calligraphy. And sometimes I just sit there and either I'm watercoloring or I'm doodling or looking through old magazines and cutting out phrases and words. So therapeutic, I promise. It definitely beats doom scrolling for sure. All right, so I have 9 hearts in total. And they're all oddly shaped, different sizes. You want to try to opt for varied sizes because we're going to be creating a bouquet of flowers. But of course, I must have flowers always and always. You know this. All right, so once we're done pasting all of our 9 hearts, we are just going to draw simple lines to resemble stems as if they were neatly arranged in a vase. And they can be all crooked and squiggly. It's fine. I'm just going to draw a stem from each little heart all the way down the page. Using my favorite Sarasa pen. I do have a journaling favorites video. I'll link it below in case you're interested in watching, where I feature this pen. I absolutely love it. I often do watercolor, and this pen is amazing if I want to do any type of doodling on top of my watercolor or underneath it. I love it. And it's super black. It's so smooth. It was actually a recommendation for my son, believe it or not. I decided to take my green Stabilo marker and make little heart leaves. I love making heart shapes. And actually, I tend to see heart shapes all throughout nature. So I get inspired very much by nature. Nature is certainly my muse, as you have already probably figured out. I decided to write out sentiments on random scrap pieces of paper, which I then backed with remnants of party streamers. And this is going to say, take time to smell the flowers, which is one of my all-time favorite phrases. And I love that I handwrote this again. I'm taking every bit of opportunity to handwrite whatever I can. And I'm just going to take my trusty glue paste and just arrange it exactly how I would like. And voila, our second spread is done. Now on to our third and final spread. This is probably the easiest spread out of all of them, and they were all pretty easy. So easy, even a caveman can do it. I know, I'm cringe. But you gotta let me know. So I'm gonna use my Tombow marker. Here you can see what it is. It's not the blackest black that I have, but I will still end up using it. And I decided to write out the word bloom. I just decided to rip out the paper to give it this funky effect. And that's another tip that I have for you. If you want to give your words or phrases just that, I don't know, shabby chic look, I guess. I'm not really sure what to call it. Do that. And I really love how that looks. Instead of cutting it with your scissors, having it look so perfectly straight, this is just that like intentional haphazard look. That's what we'll call it. Intentional haphazard. And I will take this and again do the good old matting technique by just adding this pattern, this beautiful pattern paper that I have so many scraps of. I literally have a bag of scraps, a box of scraps, little tiny boxes of scraps, and so on and so forth. I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in this, but I just refuse to get rid of my scraps. There's so many things you can do. And actually, I've been perusing on Pinterest lately. I have fallen back in love with Pinterest. So many wonderful ideas. And I noticed so many people doing like mini junk journal kits or mini scrapbook or scrap pieces kit. Sometimes I think about doing that. Is that something that you'd be interested in? Because I certainly have so much to share. That's what I've always intended it to share the goodies. I know we all collect different papers from different places, and it'd be nice to, pass it on to other paper loving crafters. So let me know if you'd be interested in junk journaling kits or scrap paper kits. I've been thinking about that lately, and it's something that I want to try. So if you give me good feedback, then I'll be most certainly inspired to do so. And I'm just going to glue it onto my beautiful paper. And by the way, this technique is essentially using that same paper that I'm backing this onto and cutting out the shapes. So if you have any scrap papers that have like beautiful flower shapes or whatever, unicorns, whatever it is, just fussy cut around it and use the shape in your journal spread. And that's what we'll be doing here. It all makes sense once I show you. I was just trying to arrange the spot where I wanted it to be until I opted to paste it vertically instead of horizontally. And I think I said here, like, just don't think about it so much because it'll frustrate you. When it comes to art, especially your journaling practice, it should just be easy, effortless. It should be almost like a meditative practice where you're just not really thinking. And honestly, when I come to my journal page with that mindset, I end up loving my spreads even more than when I overthink it. I used to definitely overthink it a lot until I started taking creative expressive arts workshops. And I learned that we're not really supposed to judge our art whatsoever. I've been reading a book by Julia Cameron, by the way, and I wanted to share a quote while I'm doing this. Oh, wait a minute. Let me show you. What I decided to do was just take a colored pencil and just draw random lines up the page in a vertical fashion. No rhyme or reason. And then the shapes that I cut out from that pretty pattern paper, I decided to just paste on there like an arrangement of flowers. I know. I can't stop with the flowers, but come on, flowers are just so beautiful. And actually, I don't know if I mentioned this in another video, but I'm going to mention it again. Flowers actually alter the human biofield. If you don't believe me, ask ChatGPT, and it will tell you all the inside scoop. Flowers literally evoke a sense of well-being instantly just by having them, by looking at them, by admiring them. So I think that's what my affinity with them is, because honestly, as soon as I see flowers, it's like my heart flutters, my life expands, and everything makes sense. I know, as cheesy as that sounds, that's really it for me. And I know a lot of people can relate and understand this. But anyways, I've been reading a book by Julia Cameron, and she said something in there that really touched me profoundly, and I want to pass this on. You probably can relate. All right, so the book is called The Artist's Way, A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity by Julia Cameron. And the quote that touched me so profoundly from the book goes like this: creativity is God's gift to us. Using our creativity is our gift back to God. Isn't that beautiful? I felt so moved by that phrase, because imagine God is a creator, right? A look at all the beauty around us, nature, humans, all the species that exist in this world and beyond, the galaxies, the stars. That's creativity in the full extent of the word. So, since we are created in God's image, we are innately creative beings. We're constantly creating. Everything we see in the material plane has been a creative thought in someone's mind. So think about that. And I think we get into trouble when we use our creativity to create chaos and disorder. When we start creating beauty in the world, that's when we really align with God's divine plan. And this has nothing to do with religion or anything. The book is not religious by any means. I think I was ready to read this book and understand it fully. And as that saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And certainly that book is fantastic. Highly, highly recommended. It's meant to be done weekly. It has a bunch of prompts and activities one has to do. But I just decided the first round, I would just read it completely, assimilate, the content. And then a second round, I would fully delve into all of the practices. But I really just wanted to enjoy it. And I'm actually listening to it on Spotify. I don't know if many of you are aware, but Spotify has a bunch of audiobooks. So does YouTube. And thank God we live in this era of information where we can find such valuable content easily accessible. But I digress. This is how the page turned out. I decided to add more heart leaves, but of course, and I just used 3 of the little shapes that I had cut out, and I love how it looks. So simple, so easy, and honestly, upon finishing the spread, well, these 3 spreads, I just felt so fuzzy and warm inside, and I promise you will too. So get to journaling, get to creating, and be inspired. You are capable of being creative, of expressing it on paper, and I promise you, all of your woes will disappear. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And remember, fly free. I love you. Bye.